What's up, y'all? I'm Ryan and this is So and So Farms. We are a first generation row crop farm in southeast Missouri. Today we are Shane is handling some irrigation over on his side, and then on the, well, not his side, but on the one county, and then I'm in another county. Me and Colin are working ground on some stuff that we picked up that we rented for next year, and the guy let it, well, he had to prevent plant it, which basically means it was too wet to plant in time. So that's going to give us a head start. We're going to get this ground worked, get it bedded up, get it ready for next year, and it's going to put us that much further ahead. So tag along. Driving by here, this is a field that I pulled the big lamb plane on the other day. You can see some vegetation starting to poke back out. So this ground we made some really hard cuts on with that lamb plane. That lamb plane is called a Purdy, P-U-R-D-Y. We made some pretty big cuts on this farm, so we don't really want to pull the bedder right behind it because it'll slab up and just jerk your tractor all around. So Colin is going to finish working ground in the field he's in, and he's going to come scratch this with the turbo. That way give us some dirt to bed this up. We're going to bed this up on 30 inches for row rice next year. And if everything goes as planned, we'll have about 300 acres of row rice ready to go over here. Right now, we're going to jump across the tracks. We had a leaky irrigation well up there, and hopefully that field's dried out and we can finish it. This field here we worked up so we can pull the big Purdy in it, and there's an irrigation well up there that is watering the field north of it. It was leaking down into this field, so it's been really hot and dry. I'm just going to go check and see if this is dried back out. No, it has not. That answered my question. Got out here to my tractor and had a dead battery. We have disked this with the John Deere disc and then turboed it. We're going to come back with a float lamb plane and lamb plane it. I say float lamb plane, that's the yellow ones that kind of flex. Then the Purdy lamb plane is the big green dinosaur that we pull. The float lamb plane will do some fine tuning, and the big green dinosaur will fill some pretty big holes. The 9300 dead. Somebody left the radio on for the last couple days, but that's okay. Got a buddy coming to the rescue, JP. He is actually from South Africa, and he works for the guy that we're renting his ground next year. So getting some of this ground ready. They're bringing me a jump box, and we're about to get back after it. Finally got out here and got to disking some ground. I didn't really realize how loud this cab was. Squeaky. I'm in the 9300. It's about a 30-year-old tractor, probably, somewhere around there, 25. But, yeah, pretty loud. And this disc is a good load for it. 37-foot John Deere disc, 2620. We're cutting up this, they disked this ground when it was really wet, and it is rough, it's a mess. Tractor's loud. It's not a super comfortable day, an enjoyable day in the cab, but it's a necessary one. The field I'm in is about 50 acres. I've probably done 15 or 20 of it, so a couple hours left out here, and then I've got another 40 and a 20, so I'll probably be doing this the rest of the day. Getting some squeaking coming from somewhere this general area. It's alright. I can deal with it if you can deal with it. Really dusty. We haven't had any rain in probably a month now, which is crazy because we were getting rains about every week. We got spoiled. Back to reality. Had a nice little lunch break with my wife. This is a Friday. I'm usually not off on Fridays, but I had to work my Wednesday this month at the car lot because it's the last day of the month, and car lots, you're always trying to meet a quota, so you don't take off the last day of the month. But that's okay. I don't mind having a Friday off. Luckily, my wife has the store. She kind of can set her own schedule, so when I'm off, she can be off. At least go for lunch, which we don't get to do very often. Maybe half a dozen times a year, which is not nearly enough. I need to make more time for that. I feel like I go all the time, work all the time. And everybody at the car lot might not think it, and everybody on the farm might not think it, but they don't get to see me in each place. Here we are in the dead middle of summer, fighting freaking mud. It ain't rained in a month and I'm fighting mud. Leaky risers, people not paying attention. Oh, I'm so aggravated. Trying to work this laid out ground here and can't even do it because freaking mud. Anyway, I gotta go find another chore to do. I can't do anything here. Good morning. We have started another day. Crops are looking good. Those are dry land beans. We are working some ground on this new farm still. It's been a process. I've been going over before my real job and after my real job, and then Colin's been going over there and filling in the meantime. We've got about everything disked that can be disked, and we've done it twice. This ground was left growed up for the year and really rough, so it's been a bit of an uphill battle, but we're getting there. Irrigated beans here. Got a little fog this morning. Pretty view. Got to get this disc hooked up that we were using, or unhooked. We borrowed this from the guy who owns the ground. Our disc bearing went out, so I hooked up to his to get some stuff done. Check our oil and we'll get going. We're gonna unhook this tractor and put it back on the big Purdy land plane. I've got 2 more fields I want to do with it, and then we're gonna bring a regular land plane over here. I just heard a gunshot. So yeah, gonna unhook this disc, then hook to the Purdy land plane. Also, my Kelly is in the way in a field over here, and I might hook to it and get it moved around. I keep hearing gunshots, which is odd, because it's not hunting season, any kind of hunting season. and it's really early. Who knows? A little bit intimidating. All right, got to do some adjusting on the Purdy here. Some very fine mechanical tuning on this machine. So the back blade here, it's got 3 blades. This one cuts and dumps, that one cuts and dumps. But this side is a little lower than that side. And there's an adjustment on there, but I don't have any tools with me. So I'm gonna drop this side some. Actually, when I hooked this thing up, had a low tire on this side. I was like, oh, that tire's leaky. No, the person before me just did the same thing. Also, the rear is digging deeper than the front, so I'm gonna level it up. There's a slide right there, a stopper that comes out, and the further out that it comes, when this sets down, it keeps it from going too deep. So the further out that pin is, the shallower it is. The more I run that pin in, then it gets deeper. So let's scale the dinosaur. Oh, it's gonna be kind of sketchy with one hand. Oh, but I can get it. If I fall off of here, it will not make it to the video. So, it's got this jam nut. I gotta back it off. Probably should have brought something to hit with. Oh, I got it. Loosen that off. And I can turn this out. Let's go 2 rounds. Let's go a round and a half. And run that back on to jam it up. Then just like that. So we've shallowed up, we've leveled up. Now let's just try to run this thing. This machine can do a lot of good or a lot of damage depending on how you got it set. Very dusty. Really haven't been taking much video because you can't see anything behind me. We're making big swooping turns, pulling the Purdy. And it is doing a beautiful job cutting and filling all the imperfections in this farm, and I love it. Love it, love it, love it. This is a slow, tedious job, but it is a very, very rewarding job, and I need to straighten my mirror up. That looks crappy. Very satisfying job. Take one of these old farms and, well, not old farm, but a farm that's had some ruts and stuff in the fall, and man, just make it look good again. Making farms great again. Get on my line here. And yeah, it's kind of hard to tell, but this does kind of a roller coaster effect down through here where somebody disced it crossways wet and just wallered it out. really nobody's fault. Either somebody told them to do it or they thought they were doing a good job at the time. We kind of do what we think is the time calls for when you're farming, but sometimes you got to come back and fix some boo-boos, and that's what we're doing. A lot of dirt being moved here. Doesn't pull this tractor real hard, about 1400 RPMs, running about 6.5, 6.6. Really just can't go too fast because you don't want the frame of that land plane to get bouncing. When it starts bouncing, man, it'll jab down in the ground and just no bueno. And it's me speaking Spanish. So yeah, just driving in circles. You only make right-hand turns when you're pulling this or a regular land plane. The dirt kicks out of this side, so you always keep what's been land planed on your right side, kick the dirt to where you haven't land planed. You keep making right-hand circles and you go and you lay lands off, kind of like a racetrack. We're trying to get all this new ground smoothed up, and I've got new blades or new plows on the hipper chopper. Robert just brought it over for me a while ago. So just as soon as I get some slick ground, I am going to start bedding up ground on 30-inch beds for rice, for row rice. But we're going to have all the row rice we can have next year. It's so much more manageable. A lot of these farms that we picked up over here, and I haven't done a big talking about on the new farm yet, but I will. It's pretty big deal for us. But anyway, a lot of them are square fields, electric wells. Man, you just flip a switch and that is it. The water's going. No starting power units, no priming up pumps, centrifugal pumps, none of that. Just push and play. So we'll put a lot of this on row rice, and we're going to double our rice acres next year, and we'll be able to do that because we can manage more row rice. The Purdy is Purdying. I've been texting everybody telling them it sure is Purdy weather. Haha. P-U-R-D-Y is how you spell that if you want to look one up, see how they work. I mean, I'm trying to show you how they work, but not being a good YouTuber, I'm not getting out and getting down there like everybody else does. I did the other day when Braxton was running it, but see how those back wheels turn when the front wheels turn? It's on a cable system. It's like the most simple technology, but it works. Man, we are moving some dirt. This is like a poor man's regrade. Like we had all the dirt scoops working on our farms not too long ago. Well, you just can't always get that done. Good morning. We're out here on some of this ground we've picked up for next year. Just trying to get some of it worked for next year. Get a little head start. And be that much more ahead of the game for next year. I'm just checking. Robert's been disking out here. I'm trying to figure out what he had done and what he didn't have done. Got the turbo on the 335. We've disked this and then ran the turbo. We ran the rough disc over at the John Deere and then we turboed it. So that's what I'm checking out here. Upon further inspection, that's not supposed to be like that. So it's not going to move. So there's not going to be any turboing happening right now. We're going to have to, I've got some new steel at the shop. We can replace that. Looks like that one over there is bent as well. I don't know how these things get bent so easy. Heck, that one's even bent. It's not good. That one's bent pretty bad. That one's bent. That one's bent. Alright, so we're going to have to go over to the shop, get a new bar for this thing, and get it bent back. And I'd say that bearing's probably ruined. Seams. So, get some parts.